On this President's Day, we thought it'd be appropriate to talk to Mr. Morris as Mr. Reagan. What does President's Day mean?
Well, I take it to mean that I can do anything I darn well please. President's Day means that we could go into Nicaragua and do whatever, because the guerrillas down there have arms that are much longer than ours, and they're winning all the battles, Charlie. No, I know that down in Nicaragua, we sent manuals down there to see if we could overthrow, see if we could help them change constructively from within. And the manuals couldn't do anything because every other person down there is named Manuel. If they couldn't change, I don't know what's coming of this world. I really don't know what the Philippines and
What is your policy towards the Philippines following the election?
Well, it's really not sure with the Fred and Wilma there, whether they're
Imelda?
going... that's what I said. Don't worry, Larry Speaks will be here to tell you what I was supposed to say. No, what I'm saying is that in the Philippines, we sent Phil Habib, and President Marcos has asked me to help assist them in their final tally, so I'm sending General William S. Westmoreland to help them count the ballots.
Arms control. The Soviets have presented a proposal, and we eagerly await the American response, which will be forwarded to the representatives in Geneva.
Well, I have to say this, that if the Soviets are going to escalate, then we have to, as I was saying, well, I've been having my own problem with arms control lately, and no, because they're afraid of our Star Wars technology. I said, we'll give it to them, our Star Wars technology, and you might ask, why?
Yes, why?
Well, I'm glad you asked that. We'll give them our Star Wars technology because we have something far more powerful and devastating than Star Wars technology.
What's that?
The Empire Strikes Back technology. And we're not afraid to use it.
Well, you know, Mr. President, they say, some of your critics say, that
I have critics?
Well, not movie critics.
Doom and gloom peddlers and misery merchants.
Well, they say you're too optimistic about the world as it is anyway.
Well, maybe I am. But no, I don't think I am too optimistic. Why, we've got more Americans back to work than ever before. We have a new jobs program opening up on CBS. It's called Real Poor People, our new jobs program. And more people, well, we do have problems with homeless, but some people choose to live in the street. It's a free country. I choose to live in the White House.
Do you like it there?
I love the White House. I enjoy running the world. I do enjoy the White House.
How does Mrs. Reagan like it? We've all grown to admire and respect her as First Lady.
Well, she might tell me what kind of draperies we need, but I tell her...
The red ones, I presume.
Yes, her favorite
color, yes.
But I tell her where the Iron Curtain belongs. But we've come a long way in this society.
Well, you know, there's a man who they say would like to occupy that office, and your administration, Mr. President, fired him, Mr. Lee Iacocca, the chairman of the board of Chrysler.
Well, by popular demand, I think that a lot of Americans would like to bring him back. I don't know whether if we did bring him back, then he'd be classic Iacocca or new Iacocca.
Very good.
Well, God bless you. I know I told Nancy earlier today that we have to get the spare room ready. We're expecting guests, and because I feel I owe it to Baby Doc. I knew his uncle. I was a fond admirer
of his uncle?
His uncle Maurice Duvalier, and I feel that I owe it to him.
See, there you go again. See, the American public...
There you go again, Charlie. Charlie Hustle Rose.
No, he's the baseball player, but that's Pete Rose.
Oh. Well, now you're bringing me back to... I was a sportscaster in WHO.
Oh, no, in Iowa.
In Des Moines.
In Des Moines.
Absolutely, WHO. And I was sitting there before we had...
You were what?
Sitting there. That's what I said. And I was getting the ticker tape.
Sure.
Yeah, sure. I know what... I'm perfectly well aware of what I'm saying, Charlie. It's what I mean. I have no idea. The teletype machine came in, and it broke down. We called the game. It was Chicago Cubs. I was calling way back, and I That's it. Well, there's a wind-up in the pitch. I had to keep making it up as I went along.
So it wasn't easy, was it?
No, I had to keep fouling off pitches, and this kept going on and on and on. And the next thing I knew, I was governor of California.
Well, would you rather be president or would you rather win an Academy Award?
Well, I don't know. I understand that the movie that I was in is doing very well as far. I don't know if it got nominations, but there's a new film about my administration came out last year. It's
Speaking of your administration, a central player.
It comes around.
It comes and goes. It sure does. And round and round. George Bush has gotten into a little political trouble because he criticized Mario Cuomo, the governor of New York, and then Mr. George Will, a friend of yours, I might say.
Yes, he wrote a
nasty column of this. Called him a lapdog.
Get off, George, please. No. George Bush is doing a fine job. He has a lot of the same responsibilities as I.
What are they?
If I knew what I did, I'd know what he does. I just get out of the plane and wave.
But you sure do a good job at that. I mean, your popularity is an extraordinary level, 66%. There's never in the history of a two-term president been one that has had such high ratings as you have had, yet there are those who say it's going to get tougher from here on out.
Well, those are the doom and gloom peddlers, and I say let's send away those hand-wringers and doubting Thomases. Let's send away those purveyors of misery and send in the clowns.
Before we go to the... Morris is here. I should say that you are in this Ronnie, what's the name of the play?
Rapmaster Ronnie.
Rapmaster Ronnie, which you were...
Co-written by, it's written by Gary Trudeau of Doonesbury fame, and Liz Swados does the music in the show, and is playing up in Boston at the Next Move Theater, and we're packing them in 9 shows a week.
You got great reviews, so congratulations.
Oh, across the board. Thank you. Thank you very
Reagan
much.
is fabulous. How do you do it? What's the secret to capturing the essence the way you do?
Well, I think it's a little bit... Well, I wouldn't recommend anyone try it at home. You know, sometimes I have trouble making the separation. No, I've been doing it for 5.5 years, and it started out as a... you know, it's like any other impression I do, just working on it and observing him and the attitude and the eternal optimism combined with the befuddlement when he's...
I would be doing the audience a disservice if I didn't show them your repertoire, I guess is the right word. Let me just do a couple. Walter Mondale.
My record stands on its own. I'm not changing a thing. No new hairspray. What you see is what stands on its own. I'm not even changing my socks. They stand on their own, too. We're going to win this thing.
Ted Koppel.
Good evening. I am Ted Koppel, and this is Nightline. Tonight on Nightline, 'twas the night before Christmas, and all through the house, not a creature was stirring, not even a mouse. And when we return, we will talk with that mouse live, as well as with Santa Claus, who will be joining us from our ABC affiliate in the North Pole, KOLD. When we return. I'm working on you, by the way. It's not quite there yet, but...
Dan Rather.
Good evening. This is the CBS Evening News. Dan Rather reporting. I read the news today. Oh, boy. But a lucky man who made the grade, and though the news was rather sad, I just had a laugh. Bob Sheever was there, and fun. Fun with impressions.
Who else do you use? Some of the newscasters. Jennings?
Harry Reasoner.
Oh, Harry Reasoner, yes.
I do Tom Brokaw. Harry Reasoner is funny.
Hello, I'm Harry Reasoner. I don't know why the heck I talk like this, but I make a lot of money, so I'll stick with it.
Andy Rooney?
Who is this Charlie Rose anyway? Hello, I'm Andy Rooney.
Tom Brokaw.
Good evening. I'm Tom Brokaw. There's a lady who's sure all that glitters is gold, and she's buying a stairway to heaven. Roger?
You know Senator Laxalt. Did you?
Well, I met him at a
story about the party
yeah.
that you did?
It's interesting. I have a service called Rent a Reagan. People hire me to come in colleges, business meeting conventions, and I did a party for one of Paul Laxalt's close friends, and he was parading me around, introducing me to everyone as his close friend, Ronald Reagan, and at the end of the evening, he said, would you like to meet, have you met the man himself? No. Would you like to meet him? No. Why not? I'm afraid Nancy would scratch my eyes out. That's why not. He said it can be arranged. We should have it. Yeah, sometime we'll roll Easter eggs on the south lawn, Paul, but I've got to go. God bless you.
Who's the toughest to do of all the people you do?
Well, once I've mastered them, they're not tough at all, but there are a lot that I work on for a while. George Bush I could do before I could do Reagan, but then Reagan became president, and it's tough. I mean, I think you'll be tough because you're not like that, you know, you don't have that many affectations. People like, oh, I don't know, Rod Serling was one of my first impressions. Welcome and enter, if you will, another dimension. You have just entered the world of Night Watch.
That would be good. That's the way we should do it. What about actors? I mean, do you find actors, do you do the sole sort of...
You know, I like concentrating on newscasters, media people, and, you know, I do Johnny Carson entertainment people, but through doing politicians, I think that's a very powerful medium because I started out doing authority figures when I was young, teachers in school, relatives, and I never forget what my old Uncle Morty used to say, Uncle Morty, my first impression.
Hey, I knew guys like you 60 years ago. Now look at you.
You know, I went all the way up to teachers in school, the principal, and that sort of thing.
It gives you a lot more material if you do actor. I mean, if you do politicians too, because you can comment on all the international affairs.
Absolutely, it's a vehicle for my political point of view, my political satire. If I can get the audience to laugh and at the same instant understand the point where I was taking them. One of my acts is a Reagan press conference. People come in for an hour and ask me any questions at all. And it's very healthy for the audience to get it out of their system, to ask and I have, you know, I have journalists come in and ask me questions they'd never get to ask the president.
Yeah. It's a delight to have you. Much success.
Well, thank you.
Jim Morris. Night Watch continues. Stay with us.